power with the news-making headlines around the world. His Highness the Emir receives a number of newly appointed ambassadors and consuls who took oath before His Highness. The representative of His Highness the Emir attends the ceremony held by the Arab League to honor His Highness the Emir after being named by the United Nations as humanitarian leader. The Council of Ministers emphasizes the importance of His Highness the Emir's speech at the National Assembly inauguration, which calls for consolidating the national unity. And the blast targeting troops near Egypt-Gaza border prompts authorities to raise the security alert level. In our first item, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah received at Sif Palace this morning His Highness Sheikh Jabal Al-Mbarak Al-Hamad Al-Sabah, the Prime Minister. His Highness the Emir also received at Sif Palace this morning His Excellency the First Deputy Premier and Minister of Foreign Affairs Sheikh Sabah Al-Khalid Al-Hamad Al-Sabah. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah received at Sif Palace today in the presence of His Highness Sheikh Jabal Al-Mbarak Al-Hamad Al-Sabah, the Prime Minister, His Excellency the First Deputy Premier and Minister of Foreign Affairs Sheikh Sabah Al-Khalid Al-Hamad Al-Sabah, who introduced to His Highness Mohammed Hussein Al-Faylakawi on his appointment as Kuwait Ambassador to the Republic of Ghana, and Jassim Ibrahim Al-Najm appointed as Kuwait Ambassador to the Federal Republic of Tanzania, Qusay Rashid Al-Farhan on his appointment as Kuwait Ambassador to the Republic of Kenya, Tariq Abdullah Al-Faraj appointed as Kuwait's Ambassador to the Republic of Kazakhstan, Omar Ahmed Al-Kandari appointed Consul General of the State of Kuwait to the Republic of Iran in the city of Erbil, and Yusuf Ashur Al-Sabbagh appointed as Consul General of the State of Kuwait to Iraq in the city of Basra. The diplomats took the constitutional oath before His Highness the Emir upon their appointment in their new posts. His Highness the Emir provided them with his directives and urged them to work hard for upgrading diplomatic work so as to serve the higher interests of their country and represent it in the best manner. His Excellency the First Deputy Premier and Foreign Minister expressed thanks to His Highness the Emir for his valuable directives, which will be the guideline for the new diplomats while they are carrying out their duties, which aim to boost relations between Kuwait and the respective countries they are accredited to. The swearing-in ceremony was attended by the Deputy Minister of the Emiri Diwan Affairs, Sheikh Ali Jarrah Al-Sabah, the Director of His Highness the Emir's Office, Ahmed Fahd Al-Fahd, Head of the Emiri Protocols and Ceremonies, Sheikh Khalid Al-Abdallah Sabah Al-Nasir Al-Sabah, and the Director of Protocol Department at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Dari Ajran Lajran.
حافظ على أسرارها.
بالحال اختاركم وزيركم تكونوا سفراء لبلدكم ولأميركم، ويجب أن تعلموا أنكم ما تمثلون أنفسكم، تمثلوني أنا وتمثلون الكويت، فأي شيء حيأثر حتى على سمعة الكويت، لكن أنا أملي فيكم أنكم تحافظوا على مكانتكم وعلى بلدكم وعلى سمعة بلدكم، وربنا إن شاء الله يوفقكم ونجيكم إن شاء الله في دياركم إن شاء الله نمركم.
صالح عن نفسي ونيابة عن إخواني طول العمر رؤساء البعثات الدبلوماسية، نتشرف اليوم بثقة سموكم، وإن شاء الله طول العمر استمعنا باهتمام إلى توجيه سموك، وهذا اللي راح يكون إن شاء الله نبراس لنا في عملنا. إخواني طول العمر اشتغلوا بالداخل وبالخارج، وحصيلة تجارب وخبرات وممارسة طويلة في وزارة الخارجية إن شاء الله راح توظف كلها في خدمة الكويت طول العمر وتمثيل سموكم في البلدان اللي راح يكونون فيها. وهدفنا طول العمر إن شاء الله اللي بين عيوننا دائما خدمة الكويت وأهلها وتوجيهات سموك.
هذا أملنا فيهم إن شاء الله، نتمنى لهم كل التوفيق.
The representative of His Highness the Emir Sheikh Subah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Subah, the Minister of the Emiri Diwan Affairs Sheikh Nasser Subah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Subah, participated in the ceremony held by the Arab League to honor His Highness the Emir on the occasion of being named as the humanitarian leader and Kuwait as humanitarian center by the United Nations. His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Subah received at his Diwan in Sif Palace today His Excellency the First Deputy Premier and Minister of Foreign Affairs Sheikh Subah Al Khalid Al Hamid Al Subah, who presented to His Highness the heads of the diplomatic and consulate missions. They are Their Excellencies Mohammed Hussein Al Faylakawi, Kuwait's Ambassador to the Republic of Ghana, and Jassim Ibrahim Al Najm, Kuwait's Ambassador to the Federal Republic of Tanzania, Qusay Rashid Al Farhan as Kuwait's Ambassador to the Republic of Kenya, Tariq Abdullah Al Faraj as Kuwait's Ambassador to the Republic of Kazakhstan, Omar Ahmed Al Kindari as Consul General of the State of Kuwait to the Republic of Iraq in the city of Arbil, and Yusuf Ashur Al Sabbagh as Consul General of the State of Kuwait to Iraq in the city of Basra. His Highness the Crown Prince congratulated them on the new posts and called upon them to exert maximum efforts for the promotion of the relation between the State of Kuwait and those countries in which they are appointed, so as to serve the interests of their country and boost its image at the international forums. The new ambassadors thanked His Highness for his directives and pledged to take them as guidance in their efforts to boost relations between Kuwait and the countries they are accredited to. The meeting was attended by the Director of the Protocol Department at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Dari Ajran Al Ajran. The National Assembly Speaker Marzouk Ali Al Ghanem received at his office today the visiting Iraqi Foreign Minister Dr. Ibrahim Al Jafari. In a statement after the meeting, which was attended by a number of Parliament members, Mr. Al Ghanem said the talks in the meeting focused on political and security developments in Iraq and in the region in general. He added that the talks also covered ways of boosting bilateral cooperation. Mr. Al Ghanem said he asserted to Dr. Jafari the need to unify regional and international efforts to face the growing terrorism which hit large areas in Iraq as well as other countries. He pointed out that terrorism was a phenomenon that requires tackling on various political, security and cultural levels. The National Assembly Speaker said that Al-Jafari's visit was important because it came only few days after a similar visit to Kuwait by the Iraqi Parliament Speaker Salim Al-Jabouri.
أنا أمسك المايك عنها؟ عطني اتصال
مع السادة المسؤولين في الكويت. واليوم كان لقاء مع معالي الرئيس سيد مرزوق الغانم مع مجموعة من مسؤولي اللجان وأعضاء مجلس الأمة. كان لقاء على درجة عالية من الأهمية.
Foreign Minister, for his part, emphasized his country's determination to strengthen its relations with Kuwait and praised the outcome of his meeting with the National Assembly Speaker and the Assembly members. Dr. Al-Jafari told reporters that he found insistence on the part of the National Assembly in Kuwait to promote the Kuwaiti-Iraqi relations and take them towards new spheres. He added that his talks with the Kuwaiti parliamentarians covered several issues, especially the ongoing events in Iraq, including the need to upgrade mutual cooperation between the parliaments of the two countries. He said high hopes are attached to the National Assembly because of its long history. The Council of Ministers took note in its weekly session, which was chaired by His Highness Sheikh Jabal Mbarak Al-Hamad Al-Subah, the Prime Minister, of a letter to His Highness the Emir from His Excellency President of the Comoro Republic, dealing with bilateral relations and ways of further promoting them. In his briefing after the session, the Minister of State for Cabinet Affairs, Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah Al-Mbarak Al-Subah, said the Council of Ministers underlined the importance of the speech delivered by His Highness the Emir at the inauguration of the National Assembly's third term, which stressed the importance of consolidating national unity to foster the best interest of the country and the citizens. He added that the Council of Ministers also hailed the Emir's speech description of the turbulent situation in the region and the impediments to real reform, which reflected His Highness' keenness with the concerns of the citizens and finding best solutions for them. The Minister of State for Cabinet Affairs said the Council of Ministers also considered ways to activate the content of the speech delivered by His Highness the Prime Minister at that session, in which he shaped up the future guidelines for government action and called for the objective and realistic handling of the national issues in the manner that achieved balance between aspirations and capabilities in all domains. His Highness' speech also emphasized the need for collective cooperation and coordination between the legislative and executive authorities so as to face the existing challenges and achieve the desired reform. The Minister of State for Cabinet Affairs said the Council of Ministers reviewed the annual report of the Audit Bureau after examining the budgets of the governmental ministries and departments as well as their closing accounts. He added that the Council of Ministers commended the efforts made by the Audit Bureau to compile its annual report and called on all concerned departments to address the remarks mentioned by the Bureau so as to prevent their recurrence. Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah Al-Mbarak Al-Subah concluded that the Council of Ministers, in light of the presentation by the Deputy Premier and Minister of Defense Sheikh Khalid Al-Jarrah Al-Subah, adopted a draft decree to promote Major General Sheikh Abdullah Nawaf Al-Ahmad Al-Subah to the rank of Lieutenant General and appoint him as Deputy Army Chief of Staff. An explosive device went off today near Egyptian troops demolishing houses in a town on the border with the Gaza Strip, where Egypt is clearing a buffer zone to halt weapons smuggling. The strong blast in the border town of Rafah caused no casualties but prompted authorities to raise the security alert level. Rafah and its surrounding areas in the northern part of the Sinai Peninsula have been under a state of emergency for more than a week, since 31 troops were killed in a militant assault. No one claimed responsibility for the attack, but the region has emerged as a stronghold of militants who have carried out scores of attacks in recent months, mainly targeting soldiers and police. Over the past week, a total of 300 houses were demolished out of more than 800 targeted houses, housing more than 10,000 residents. Egypt's President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said the government has allocated up to 1 billion Egyptian pounds as compensation for the residents being forced to leave their homes. Hamas in Gaza threatened to break the ceasefire agreement with Israel on Sunday. Meanwhile, the situation in Gaza remains tense as all the crossings of Gaza are shut down by Israel and Egypt, with no solution in sight. More with Majlou Haidi from Gaza.
Following the closure of Gaza crossings by Israel, a prominent Hamas official in Gaza said in a press statement that if Israel's blockade on Gaza is not lifted, Hamas will not be committed to the ceasefire agreement.
There is no doubt that if the Zionist enemy keeps violating ceasefire agreement, a large explosion will happen soon in Gaza. We are talking about agreements, entitlements, and duties. The Palestinian resistance will not remain confined to this agreement as long as the enemy does not open all crossings to introduce reconstruction materials into Gaza and respect other conditions in the agreement.
Earlier on Sunday, Palestinian National Movements held an emergency meeting in Gaza City. Islamic Jihad movement invited various political factions to discuss the escalations in Jerusalem and the West Bank and the fate of the truce in Gaza. An official said that the leaders will try to unite in how to respond to Israel, especially after its violations in Gaza, which led to the closure of the crossings and prevented the entry of reconstruction materials.
Well, the closure of all crossing points with the Gaza Strip from the Israeli side and from the Egyptian side and tightening the siege, this would have a negative impact on the Palestinian peoples, especially where people have been waiting for the past few weeks for the cement and building materials and other food supplies to come to Gaza to help people to be able to survive a good life.
The ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas ended 7 weeks of a bloody war, leaving a reality full of destruction and serious reconstruction challenges. Israeli media says that the recent closure of the crossings came as a result of firing rockets into Israel. The mindset of Gazans have changed since then. Many are living in constant fear and a sense of certainty that a new war is possible. Nowadays, Gaza is totally isolated on all sides. Both Israel and Egypt closed all the cross points so that no reconstruction materials can enter, and those who want to travel will remain trapped in Gaza's open-air prison. Majlou Hedi, Kuwait TV, Gaza.
Kurds and Free Syrian Army rebels fired mortar rounds in and around the besieged town of Kobani today, pushing to drive out the IS militants' positions on the outskirts of Kobani. Iraqi Kurdish fighters were fighting together with the main Kurdish group in the besieged town, People's Protection Units, the YPG, in the west of Kobani, hoping their support for fellow Kurds backed by US-led airstrikes will keep the ultra-hardline group from seizing the Syrian border town. The arrival of 150 Iraqi fighters of Peshmerga on Friday marks the first time Turkey has allowed troops from outside Syria to reinforce Syrian Kurds who have been defending Kobani for more than 40 days. At least 24 people have died after a boat carrying migrants believed to be from Afghanistan and Syria sank today in the Bosphorus Strait. The Turkish Coast Guard said 24 bodies have been recovered and 7 people rescued from where the strait meets the Black Sea. Rescue crews are searching for other passengers by air and sea. This year, hundreds of thousands of migrants have tried to reach the European Union, making dangerous journeys across sea and land. Migrants may have been traveling from the Middle East to Romania. Pro-Russian rebels elected the separatist leadership in eastern Ukraine in a vote President Petro Poroshenko called a farce. The United States and European Union have denounced it as illegitimate. However, Russia said it would recognize the result, deepening the crisis. More in the following report.
Voters in rebel-held eastern Ukraine turned out at the polls to elect members of parliament and prime ministers in the pro-Russian separatist provinces of Donetsk and Luhansk in a vote criticized by the Ukrainian government in Kiev and Western governments. The European Union has condemned as illegal elections held by pro-Russian separatists in eastern Ukraine. EU Foreign Policy Chief Federica Mogherini said the polls were a new obstacle on the path towards peace. Meanwhile, the European Union echoed objections that German Chancellor Angela Merkel made to Russian President Vladimir Putin and said the bloc would not recognize the vote. For his part, Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko called the Sunday polls as a violation of the Minsk Agreement, which was also signed by Russia. The central government in Kiev also described as a farce the polls in the two proclaimed People's Republics in Donetsk and Luhansk regions. However, Russia said it respects the people in the polls where the two current rebel leaders are set to win. In Moscow, the Russian Foreign Ministry said in a statement that it respects the will of the people of the southeast. It also called for sustainable dialogue between the authorities in Kiev and the rebels. The self-proclaimed election officials say early results suggest Alexander Sakarchenko will become the regional head in Donetsk, while Igor Plotnitsky will secure a victory in Luhansk. The rebels also staged what they called parliamentary elections in the two other regions collectively known as Donbas. In other developments, the Ukrainian military reported an intensive deployment of troops and equipment crossing the border from Russia in the east of the country. Ukraine and the West accuse Russia of arming the rebels and sending Russian troops across the border. Moscow, which annexed Ukraine's southern Crimea Peninsula in March, denies the claim. At least 3,700 people have been killed in fighting since armed separatists took over government buildings in a number of towns across the Donetsk and Luhansk regions in April.
This week, the Mexican community of Kuwait joined with Mexicans globally in celebrating Dia de Muertos, a festive holiday honoring life and loved ones. In 2008, the tradition was inscribed in the representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity by the UNESCO. The festive occasion is part of a series of celebrations leading up to the President of Mexico's Enrique Pena Nieto upcoming visit to Kuwait this December. Reporter Badria Saleh brings us this report.
Dia de Muertos is a Mexican holiday observed throughout Mexico and in other cultures around the world. The holiday focuses on gathering with family and friends to pray for and remember loved ones who have passed away.
It is a festive occasion, an ironic moment when we have a lot of fun, remembering all the people we have loved who have taken part in our lives, and we imagine that they are still with us. So we designate a specific place in the home. We decorate it with flowers. Marigold is the chosen flower, which is also in season during early November in most of central Mexico. And if the person had favorite sweets or a favorite dish or a favorite whatever, we put a collection of these dishes there. There's always fruit, and all this represents life, the idea that life is eternal. So even if people are not with us, we still consider them part of ourselves.
Well, this is one of many cultural events that we want to schedule, especially for beginning next year. But this one is more than tradition. We want to really have a link with the community here in Kuwait, with the Mexican community, and we really don't want to lose this link and this opportunity to really be in contact, not for only the National Day, but with many other cultural events.
And what we have been doing recently, the embassy has tried to be more proactive. We have a group of mariachi players who are going to be visiting Kuwait towards the end of November. And all this, what we have tried to do at the embassy, with the help of many Kuwaiti institutions, is to make sure that Mexico is present in people's minds, that they see that Mexico is an active global player, that we partake of different cultures, and that we are solid partners. So the visit of the President of Mexico next 16 December is a very big event. We have not had a presidential visit to Kuwait in 40 years.
Traditions connected with the holiday include building private altars called ofrendas, honoring the deceased using sugar skulls, marigolds, and the favorite foods, beverages, and possessions of the past loved ones, as well as visiting the departed's graves with gifts. Here in Kuwait, it also serves as a special occasion to share and educate young ones on their cultural heritage, to give them an opportunity to participate in the festive traditions, even while living away from Mexico.
The favorite part is that I can be playing with my friends and other people. You know, the land of the dead, you know, you fall down in the grave, and their skeleton bones. My favorite part is the Day of the Sea, the Day of the Dead, and when they decorate the tables with sweets and candies.
Celebrated annually on the 2nd of November, Dia de Muertos is based on cultural syncretism that's evolved into a fun-filled, light-hearted occasion to gather with loved ones and celebrate life and its many shades of blessings. The Dia de Muertos celebrations not only offer the local Mexican community an opportunity to celebrate home traditions away from home, they're also part of the upcoming celebrations for the visit of the Mexican president to Kuwait in December. At the residence of the Mexican ambassador to Kuwait's home, I'm Badria Saleh reporting for the English News.
Moving on to the local business news, where Kuwait Stock Exchange ended today's trading on mixed boards as the weighted index reached 481.95 points, losing 1.16 points. The price index reached 7,318.99 points, losing 40.92 points, while the KSX 15 reached 1,173.28 points, gaining 0.5 points. The number of trades amounted to 2,667 transactions, worth about 14 million Kuwaiti dinars, with around 105 million shares changing hands. And in our final item tonight, as seen in London and New York, now you can see it right here in Kuwait for the first time, as Event Mania brings the multi-award winning phenomena Stomp. Event Mania is a full-service management and consulting company bringing entertainment live to the region, including Broadway quality musical productions and groundbreaking shows by internationally acclaimed troupes. Sarah Faris Globe has more from the ice skating rink.
For the first time in Kuwait, Event Mania, in association with Stomp Productions and Glennis Henderson Productions, presents Stomp, the most dynamic, wild and breathtaking production of all times.
Stomp is a musical show. It won a lot of awards before, and it's basically making music out of everything except instruments. So they making music out of garbage cans, sticks, the brushes, trolley baskets, everything except of the actual musical instruments. Event Mania is a live entertainment show company. We bring a lot of shows, and we're hoping to bring more of entertainment shows to Kuwait, instead of people traveling from outside of Kuwait to other countries to attend shows. We can basically just bring them to Kuwait and have more of action happening in Kuwait. Now, we brought before Shadowland, Sesame Street twice. We brought Abracadabra twice. And this is our 6th show in Kuwait, and hope everybody likes it. Stomp.
Stomp has been playing in an off-Broadway theatre for nearly 20 years and in the London West End for more than a decade, with thousands of shows performed.
2 years ago, I was in Jordan for work, and I attended some show in Jordan, and I fell in love with it. I like the music, how they make music out of everything from all kinds of objects in terms of garbage can, trolleys, etc. And I like the energy and the fun out of it. So I contacted them, and it took 2 years to bring them to Kuwait. They have a very busy schedule. So finally, they're here in Kuwait. I really hope so. There are going to be more upcoming shows, live events in the coming 6 months. Just stay tuned for updates at Event Mania Co. at Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And just stay tuned for the website. It's going to be better shows in the future, inshallah.
Stomp has toured the world, performing in 48 countries with an overwhelming success, and it was seen by millions of people during their performance at the closing ceremony of the Olympic Games in London. Stomp, the multi-award-winning production, continues to astound audiences all over the world, and now for the first time it has done so in Kuwait, with its universal language of rhythm and dance and its extremely creative and comedic value. From the ice skating ring in Kuwait, this is Sarah Glubb reporting for English News.
For a chance to see our reports again, please visit our YouTube channel at MOI Kuwait News. Well, with that, we conclude our news bulletin. Thank you for joining us. Have a pleasant time. I'm Maham Tawa. Before we go, we remind you once again of our main top stories. Have a pleasant time and good night. His Highness the Emir receives a number of newly appointed ambassadors and consuls who took oath before His Highness. The representative of His Highness the Emir attends the ceremony held by the Arab League to honor His Highness the Emir after being named by the United Nations as humanitarian leader. The Council of Ministers emphasizes the importance of His Highness the Emir's speech at the National Assembly inauguration, which calls for consolidating the national unity. And a blast targeting troops near Egypt-Gaza border prompts authorities to raise the security alert level.